Good day to you. My name is Maria Kondzielska and you are watching Poland Daily Culture. Climbing mountains in the winter is a part of Polish culture. And Oswald Rodrigo Pereira, a filmmaker but also journalist, joined this year the K2 expedition in order to summit the mountain. Oswald, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm here.
And in the previous episode, you told us a lot about the work of a reporter during such kind of climb and how does it look like. But please tell me, what happens later on when when eventually the weather is good, you decide to climb, and as I understand, you need to reach another base?
Exactly. When you have like a good weather forecast, you need to decide how many days and hours you have left, so that you make it on time to be back on the base camp. Usually on K2, you go from base camp to advanced base camp. It's just called advanced base camp, but you don't have a base camp there. It's just a tent, so that you can spend the night there if you want. But usually you just make it on your first rotation, because climbing basically is about rotations. You go to some altitude, you spend the night there, then you go down. Then on another rotation, you go higher, again, maybe spend a little bit 2 days there and go down, so that you have acclimatization and your body is prepared to go until the summit. On K2, it looks like first you go on a flat glacier between crevasses and ice formations, seracs, and etc. And you reach the altitude of 5,300 meters. And that's the point that you put your equipment, your harness on, and you start climbing, basically. So from altitude 5,300 meters, you have to climb until 6,000 meters, 700 meters denivellation difference. And you reach Camp 1. Then you have Camp 2, which is sometimes at 5,500 meters, sometimes, 6,500 meters, sometimes even higher. Then you have Camp 3, and from Camp 3, you can make it the summit push. Basically, when you arrive to your camp, depending if you are by yourself or with a team, or you have a team of Sherpas to help you, you have to mount, to assemble a tent. And then basically as fast as you can, you go inside the tent to warm yourself up. And the next thing that is important, you need to boil water to have some tea, to have some juice or something. Because as you can imagine, the hydration is very crucial. If you start to feel dehydrated, you lose power and you don't have strength. You are not strong enough to continue your climbing next day. So basically most essential is to warm yourself up and then start boiling water. And it's pretty hard because sometimes a liter of water boils around 1 hour. So the conditions are not very favorable. And no matter how tired you are, you need to take care of that. Usually for me, also reaching Camp 1 doesn't mean it's the end of the day, because I have to go with my camera and do some footage, do some recording, interviews, etc. But basically the most important is to have as much rest as possible. Usually it gets dark very early, around 6 p.m. it's already dark, and you spend these sleepless hours just wishing you could fall asleep. The wind is blowing in your tent, and you just want to go up next day. You just wish it's already morning. As for me, the nights are very tough at altitude, and usually I sleep like really maybe 3-4 hours a night, because it's not comfortable, it's cold and the wind is blowing, so usually your head is awakened all the time.
Because you feel threatened, as I understand. It's also very cold. It's minus 40, 45?
Exactly. Usually at night it's around minus 40, minus 40. I think my lowest temperature this year was minus 45 degrees, exactly.
Oh, that's freezing cold, and sleep in such kind of condition. It sounds almost impossible. But so from the base 3, you are able to reach the summit, and as I understand, go back.
Exactly.
how far did you manage to go with Magda, of course?
Well, as a filmmaker, my role was to follow Magdalena and be with her whenever she would climb. And we reached Camp 2. We reached Camp 2 two times on our first rotation and the second one. And I just climbed a little bit higher until Chimney House. It's a very emblematic part of K2, and I just wanted to be there and do some footage. So I reached 6,600 meters.
And because Magda had some food poisoning and health problems, you didn't go upwards to the third base. But the other members of the expedition did it and arrived in base 3, but they didn't have enough tents there, as I understand. There was a problem and of a company who was supposed to provide them. Yes.
Exactly. I mean, on the facts that happened on Camp 3, when I was in there, I need to believe people that I spoke with. And from what I heard is it looks like on Camp 3, when they arrived there, they just had 3 tents for around 18 people, if I'm not mistaken, which, as you can imagine, is not enough because usually a tent can fit 3 to 4 people, and 4 people is already very crowded. So if you can imagine that it had to fit like from 6 to 7 people in one tent, they didn't have chances to recover enough. But still, some people decided to go down, some people decided to go up. I think at the end of the day, it's you that make the decision if you want to continue your summit push, or if you analyze the situation and then you think, okay, it's too risky. Usually you have a couple of factors that you take under calculation, and it's you that decide if you go up. Some people decided to go down. 4 persons decided to try to make the summit push. It was Ali Satpara, his son Sajid, Juan Pablo from Chile, and John Snorri from Iceland. And at some point, the regulator of the oxygen bottle of Sajid wasn't working properly, so his father told him to go down, and I think it was around 8,200 or 8,300, and the trio, Juan Pablo, John and Ali, they followed, that they continued up, and we don't know what happened. They missed, so we are not sure if they reached the summit or if they had an accident or their way up, or if something happened when they were going down from the summit. For now, we just know that they died there, but maybe in the summer it will be possible to determine what happened exactly to them. Maybe if they find their bodies, maybe they will have some records, some images on their cameras or something. So I still have hope that one day we will be able to know what happened. Maybe they were also on the summit, which would be a tragic, but also somehow like a fulfillment of their dreams. But yeah, those 3 persons died. And also on the way down from Camp 3, Atanas Katov, a climber from Bulgaria, he fell from the rope. Probably he wasn't attached properly in a safe way, and he fell from the altitude of around 7,000 meters until advanced base camp, so almost 2,000 meters, and he died immediately.
That's all very tragic, and I cannot imagine how it all needs to be and what people do in such situations. But we will talk about it in the next episode. And you viewers of Poland Daily, stay with us.